Well, we're now shifting focus to the Coppa Italia finals going on today between AC Milan and Bologna. And guys, these teams just played each other on Friday. Milan got the 3-1 win in that one. Now we shift our focus to seeing how they'll face up against each other today and if there will be some changes in their starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, look, these are your 11s. There's been a lot of questions on Bologna's side with Dalinga starting up top. It's either going to be him or Castro. Ndoye is ready to go after being out to injury. He's kind of been an important player on attack for Bologna, but Orsolini, obviously the focus here. It's the strongest possible 11 you could dream of if you're Bologna. And on the other side, this is the Milan that we've grown to expect.
Yeah, coming into it, a player that you're familiar with, Fikayo Tomori, right there, I think he's actually thrived in this back three shift from Conceição, and it's given a bit of stability to a back line that's been leaking goals. But Zat, you know, being in a back three or back four, how significant it is to have everyone in sync, especially for an Englishman like Tomori.
Yeah, Tomori, I really like this guy. I really do like him. Since he's gone to Milan, he's gone from strength to strength, and I'm really excited for him to win something. But my overall guy for AC Milan, and I'm happy that he's back, is Leao. I think he's a game changer, and I think he's going to be a difference in this final.
He's going to match up with Calabria. If you can help me out, Zad, and point to the right back on.
Can I stand on this
This guy right here.
Let's remember the fallout from a couple months ago. Calabria with Conceição. They had beef after a game that seemingly pushed Calabria or Conceição over the edge, so much so that he had to leave the club.
Yeah. Oh, he's former Milan captain.
Right?
That left the club.
It would be a nice little sense of revenge for Calabria if Bologna would end up winning and he's on the victorious side of things, marking the best player for Milan.
Yeah, the big thing that I'm looking at in this final is how does Milan deal with a Bologna side that's scoring for fun? Has been scoring for fun for much of the second half of the season, or at least since November. And Fikayo Tomori, he came off the field against Bologna with a head injury, so we'll see. He's not going to be 100%, but that's going to have a big impact because Stohinja Pavlovic, as we see Orsolini, how that goal was scored, if Milan don't do a good job of shifting over from side to side, they're going to get cooked because Bologna, they like to hit the ball early, get it wide, diagonal to diagonal, isolate Orsolini. That's how they got their first goal. But ultimately, it's about who has the edge, and these two teams are closely matched.
Also, sorry, before we go into there, this Jovic has, I mean, who would have thought that Milan would be playing in a final and it's not Tammy, it's not Santi Gimenez, it's Jovic playing up top. I mean, all credit to the striker who's kind of had a lot of highs and lows in his career to finally make it and show that edge in this Milan side for him and his career.
Yeah, you're both giving a lot of credit to the positives and the strengths that both Milan and Bologna bring into this game. But now when we put them together head to head, who's got the edge in certain aspects of the game? So Lahoud, starting off with defense, who's got the edge here?
So defensively, look, Milan, as of late, they've looked more together defensively, but overall, I give the edge to Bologna defensively. Lukami and Bokma, that's a good center-back pairing. Lukami brings the strength, the muscle. Bokma brings the finesse and the leadership in the back line. Miranda as well on the left-hand side. That's going to be a good matchup to see who can win that edge for Milan on their right, I think, with Gimenez being there. It leads me to this. Before I get to this, actually, what's your guys' perception?
I was going to ask you, if you want to group defense with goalkeepers too, does that sway anything the other direction in your opinion?
No.
Like if you throw Menyan and Skorupski into the whole defensive conversation.
Mike Menyan, unless it's a match against Inter, has not been the Mike Menyan of old. He's had some costly mistakes. He's had some moments of madness. Against Inter, if we're looking just at the Milan derby, hey, gives him the edge. Skorupski's actually been impressive for the most of the season, comes up with big saves. He's been consistent throughout the year, and I still give the edge in the defense. In the midfield, though, that's where things get really interesting. Whenever I see Tijjani Reijnders on any team sheet, I automatically think that team just got better. He's been the best midfielder in Serie A this season. He's all around. He's shown up in the biggest matches, and without him and Christian Pulisic, I would be terrified to think of where Milan would be. They certainly wouldn't be in the Coppa Italia final.
So I do agree that Tijjani Reijnders is the best midfielder on the pitch in this Coppa Italia final, I think Bologna have a pretty balanced midfield. In Ferguson, Ebischer, Odegaard, you find pieces and you say, okay, maybe they're not the sexiest names, but it gives you balance, stability. It's a core. This is the team that's been playing since last year that has really given Bologna a big part of their identity. So paired with Fofana, it's always like you want to pair Reijnders with somebody else, or the two in the back, like not even Joao Felix has fit in properly. It's been Reijnders floating. Fofana, he hasn't been up to the standard. So I'm not sure Milan gets ultimately the edge, although they do have, and I think it's a significant leap ahead of the rest of the pack that Tijjani Reijnders is the best midfielder in this final.
I agree with Nico with the midfield. With Bologna's midfield, like you said, they're more steady, and I think with Milan, they're a bit more all over the place and still haven't found their feet yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, I hope we can all come to ground on this and come to an agreement on this in the attack, right? Rafa Leao, work with these names. Rafa Leao, Christian Pulisic, and I actually back Santi Gimenez to start in the final. What we've seen with him coming off the bench, Conceição has a big decision to make. Luka Jovic in the semifinal, it was a masterclass for him to remember that he can score goals again, and he took his opportunities well. But if they want to confirm and guarantee that they're going to win, you have to go with Santi. And I think because the player's coming back from injury, and this is a Bologna attack that seems to be running out of steam as of late because they're competing on multiple fronts. They're still competing to get in their European spot through the league and competing for a Coppa Italia final. So that's where I think the recency bias, the form that these Milan attackers are coming in, and the fact that I think Santi plays better if he does get the start. I think he functions better with him being high and then Christian Pulisic and Rafa Leao playing underneath. So they get my pick.
You're going to agree with that, Nico? Or
I think that's
no debate
fair.
Here.
Although Bologna does have some interesting names up top, but not the star power that Milan has.
And ultimately, in finals, when players decide it, but managers set up players to have the winning formula. And if Bologna match up against, in terms of Vincenzo Italiano and Sergio Conceição, there's no decisive point for me. It's Vincenzo Italiano. I think he's a better manager because his side have a clear identity, and they already saw a bit of what Milan have to offer, minus Rafa Leao. I think that he's got his side with the high line, with how they press, getting that goal from Orsolini, getting players back. I think he has the tactical variance to get after this Milan field.
Yeah, I think you could also throw in there that Vincenzo Italiano has played 3 finals with Fiorentina, lost them all. They were actually, 2 of them were actually very high profile. One was a Coppa Italia, but the other 2 were Conference League. Sergio Conceição never played a final as high profile as Conference League, let's call it, right? So maybe that experience helps him, and it's a point of revenge for Vincenzo Italiano.